let's welcome our guests, two composers,
Mm.
husband and wife, and on my show. And we're going to chat about music, about life, about gossip, about current issues, and anything you want to ask them. And make sure you participate right on our comment area. Okay, great. So my name is Ching Juhl. Let me tell you a little bit about William Kraft. He has an incredible musical career, and I'm just reading a little bit of his biography. Okay, so here we go. The distinguished composer William Kraft is professor emeritus at the University of California, Santa Barbara, where he served for 11 years as chairman of the composition department and Colwyn professor of music composition.
Mm.
Bill was also a member of the Los Angeles Philharmonic, both
Mm-hmm.
as a percussionist
Mm.
and timpanist. Bill
And
also at one point was the assistant conductor of the orchestra.
yes,
And yes, so I went on YouTube, checked Bill out, and made a playlist of Bill's works. Lots of wonderful compositions. So today we're going to chat about music and everything. So let me just also do a short version of Joan Huang. Yeah, first of all, June was from China, Shanghai, just like me.
Joan.
We both graduate from the
Correctly,
Shanghai, the
June.
Shanghai. Yeah, we both graduate Shanghai Conservatory of Music. Yeah, and she, of course, is a composition major. I was a violist, and so she came to this country, and also a very accomplished lady. She
Mhm.
got a PhD um, from UCLA, and also she got many awards, which we're going to talk about later. So so okay, how are you feeling,
Tired.
Joan? Yeah,
Um,
tired,
yeah,
tired, tired
he just
of
woke up from a nap. Sorry.
oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So yes. So Bill, you know you may not remember me. I met you at Boston in Dee's house in 2016.
Who's
That's
that?
4 years ago.
These
2016.
You.
is
Dee's house.
our common friend from Shanghai also.
Oh,
Yeah, we had a crab. No, what did we have? Crabs, right?
Yeah,
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 yeah.
we had a crab. I
Very
remember that.
the northeastern special crab.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
And then it was a event. I also went to your concert. Your composition was played by a chamber orchestra. Yeah.
uh,
So, Bill, how are you these
fine.
days? And how is COVID-19 affecting your area, or you just like stay home?
We stay home.
Yeah, yeah.
As
And late,
yeah.
yeah. And for the last few days, and I realized there's more breakout in California.
Mm-hmm.
I think California. You're in California, right? You're in. Wait,
Yeah.
what town? May I ask what town do you live?
Altadena. It's in the Los Angeles County. You know, Los
Mm,
Angeles is the second largest city.
It's right next to
wow.
Pasadena. If you know where Pasadena is,
Uh-huh. Okay.
we're,
Yes.
we're,
Pasadena.
we're just
Mm-hmm.
up in the foothills.
Pasadena has great Chinese food, right? they have they have Chinatown in Pasadena, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, people need to be very careful because I think that there's more cases coming now, more discover more tests, and people go crazy, when the weather is nice. So you guys have beaches and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
Bill, you are a composer. So I always feel a little bit how do I say um a little bit it's a mystery to me how a work how a piece of work, musical work, being written by a human being. Yeah, because I am an instrumentalist. I always play somebody else's works, but never knew the process of writing a music. So when you have a thought, yeah, or when you have a theme, or when you have a project as a composer, and can you just walk through just a very kind of a simple way to explain to people like not terribly musical people, like do you start to think about something and you grab a piece of paper, write it down, or do you now write on your computer? How did the whole creation work? How long does it take?
Oh, it depends.
Mhm.
It depends. Maybe a few days. That's an
Mhm.
average, I think. Well, an idea goes down immediately. I mean, if it's an idea that takes thought, then I usually take a walk, or I used to jog, but I can't do that anymore. But I take a walk and think about the piece. What is it? What is it about? And once I determine what it's about, what's the best way to set it? What kind of instrumental forces? What is the whole idea? And gradually pare it down uh, to the beginning. And that's always a big question. What's the best way to begin?
Mhm.
And once I decide that, it goes. It just builds on itself. Once I get basic material, most of the rest is craftsmanship, but
Mhm.
always with creativity involved, not just mechanical.
Mm.
You know, that answer your
So
question?
kind of, yeah, yeah. So
Huh?
Bill, yeah, yeah. So Bill, you have done so many things. You teach, you conduct, you write, you play percussion, you play timpani, and you compose music. Now, at the very, very beginning of your musical training, are you from a musical family that your family influenced you? How did you become a musician?
Well, my mother insisted on all the children taking piano lessons, and that was at age of 5 when I started. Uh, and when we moved, I was about 10 or 12, so I forgot about it. And we settled in San Diego, and I said, I'm going to get my own teacher now. And so my mother
Mhm.
would find a neighborhood teacher.
Yeah.
But I decided when I was about 12, 13 to find my own teacher. And I got involved in jazz.
Mm.
And I loved that.
Mm.
I never thought I would have a classical career.
Mm.
To me, the classical composers,
Mm.
my favorites being Stravinsky, Ravel, Debussy, I just thought they were gods and not to be touched. They were influences, but I never thought I could write either in the style or being influenced by them. But when I was in the Air Force, I was in a band, did an arrangement of Stardust, of all things. My roommate was a trumpet player, and he said he wanted me to do an arrangement of Stardust for him as a solo.
Mhm.
I resisted. I said, no, Stardust was such old hat. I think the
Mm.
oldest song in the world. And I didn't want to do it, but he begged me. I said, well, I'll do it my way. And that way was to start with an elaborate introduction. In the process, I had discovered the interval of a fourth. it intrigued me. So I wrote an elaborate introduction based on the interval of a fourth, and a colleague,
Mm-hmm.
his colleague had already had 3 years at Juilliard. He was a marvelous musician, great pianist, and he knew so much. He began my musical education, really. He would take me to the piano, and he would play the repertory and talk about it. And that was the best education I ever had. Hands-on, we especially talked about the Impressionists. So I began writing more or less in an Impressionist style, but I was also very much influenced by Hindemith. But without knowing it, I had written these arrangements with the introduction built on the interval of a fourth, which that fourth is very common in the style of Hindemith.
Yeah.
And this musician came over. Saul Davis was his name. Wonderful musician, wonderful pianist. And he said, "You stole that introduction from Hindemith." Who? Boy, we have things to talk about.
Yeah.
My education, really. We'd go to the piano. We were, I think, in Paris in the Air Force and moved to Germany. But in both places, we would go to where the piano was, and he would play and talk to the composers. A real hands-on education. And then, so it just grew from there.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something because Bill used to, mention to me always. He said that during his childhood, San Diego is, California is, paradise, but it's like a cultured desert. No culture there. So everybody had to go to the East Coast, Then the Bill accidentally went to East. So he get exposed to the really culture,
Right.
He said decided he had to leave San Diego, to go to New York or something. Okay.
Yeah.
True.
I know Hindemith a little bit because he wrote many viola repertoire. I'm a violist.
Oh yeah.
That was his instrument.
Yeah, that's his instrument. Yeah, so he was really huge contribution to 20th century viola repertoire and so many great works he's written. My teacher Kim Kashkashan recorded all of them, and it's just so beautiful.
Really?
Yeah. I studied with Kim Kashkashan. Yeah.
Did you record it?
She recorded all of them. All the Hindemith work. Many sonatas, solo sonata, or a solo viola sonata or sonata with orchestras. And of course, he also has a Schwanendrell, the viola concerto, and a small, like 5 minutes work, or maybe 10 minutes work with the chamber orchestra. But anyway, I actually educate myself, and I went to listen to your music. Many of them on YouTube. There's one is very interesting. I mean, they are all great. One is like you title them as almost like a Bach's suite. You call English suite. It's a suite for percussion percussions, different percussions. So what was that? Do you remember? What was that inspired by? You tried to be a little Baroque-ish in your work?
Yeah, he was a great believer and exponent of the counterpoint.
So you did like exercise pieces, or this a French suite English suite. The percussion, like snare drums.
What about it?
Whole set of the percussion.
Yeah.
Like how to say, prodigy. No. Talk about for the university students. The French suite, English suite, all these pieces, a whole set. Right. Then you were.
I actually wrote those because there wasn't any decent literature for solo percussion.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
What was written at that time was what I call rat-a-tat boom boom music.
Yeah.
Write some serious stuff for my colleagues.
Yeah.
That's how it got started.
Yeah. Now, Bill.
Yes.
Educate me. Not all percussionists is timpanist, right? Can a timpanist play being a percussionist, or can a percussionist be a timpanist?
Not always.
Yeah, you know why? I think
you have to have an ear for pitch.
Yes.
So
yes.
Nowadays, the timpani have gauges.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Timpanists simply look at the gauges.
Oh, yeah. That's cheating.
My teacher, Saul Goodman at Juilliard, took all the tuning gauges off the timpani. He made tune simply by your ear.
Bill has a perfect pitch. That really helps,
Awesome.
when you are during the symphony playing, it's adjusting. It's just by the ear.
Yeah. My mom was a pianist, so I'm very influenced by her. But I still remember she told me, she said the second important person in the entire orchestra, other than the conductor, is the timpanist. My mom said, if the conductor dropped that, then the timpanist will come to conductor. I still remember my mom said that.
Well, I remember one time we were playing The Rite of Spring by Stravinsky.
Yeah.
And with Zubin Mehta. And he got lost in the last part.
He got lost.
Maybe they're changing bum bum ba bum 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 ba bum ba bum. And well, I just thought, I didn't even think. What can you do? You just play the music. And besides, the final part, the final dance of the Rite of Spring has so many changing meters. The conductor can do nothing but be correct. And if you have wrong, well, too bad.
Yeah.
I simply
holy rhythm, right? It's very complicated. So, Bill, tell us a little bit about how Stravinsky was like. Was he like a difficult person to work with?
No. Very easy, very polite. He wasn't technically as accurate as he could be, but the musicians came mostly from the studios and the Philharmonic, Los Angeles Philharmonic, or in other cities from the orchestras. What was I getting at?
We're talking Stravinsky.
About the Stravinsky Stravinsky was easy.
Yeah. He lost his temper in my presence only once. And the extent was no. Then we went back to the music. Never saw him angry.
Uh-huh.
He's always very courteous to the musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Called everyone dear
Oh.
or dears, you know,
Oh.
my dear.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Very courteous and patient. Only
Yes.
lost his temperature one time when something
Yeah.
frustrating. And he
Yeah.
said, no, 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 and that was yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's Bill work on the famous soldier story, the East Wado Soda. Ching, you probably played. I mean, it's a very important repertoire in the 20th century. Bill helped edit all the drum part, right, the percussion
Oh.
part. Then the people
Wow.
I play the percussion that nowadays they're using is the one you are
On my part, yeah.
That's Bill Kraft's part about his
Wow.
East Wado Soda. That's a soldier story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
under that's the product of the working with Stravinsky.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you played with Los Angeles for 26 years, right? Los Angeles Philharmonic, 18 years as a timpanist.
And then 6 years as assistant conductor.
Yeah, awesome. Now, but I want to rewind just a little bit. I don't remember if I asked you, were you a percussionist first and a composer later, or at the same time?
Well, I played jazz throughout my teens.
On what instrument? Piano?
Piano.
Drum set.
And
sorry, drummer.
Can I
sorry,
answer?
yeah, sorry.
Piano and drum. I played in a nightclub in San Diego, a black nightclub.
Wow.
My favorite job of all time.
Wow. Great.
The Spanish pianist, when he was in town, he played piano, I played drums. When he went out of town, I played piano. And this black fellow, Leon Pettis, drums. Marvelous percussionist.
Wow.
So I played both, yes.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about Zubin.
About what?
Zubin Mehta.
Zubin came to the orchestra when he was 25.
Wow.
Conducted, guest conducted a concert at the Hollywood Bowl. And immediately, everybody wanted him as a new music director. We had been 6 years without a music director. Everyone, not only the management, but the orchestra. That's a rare occurrence, and everybody agrees. But everyone did agree that Zubin should be the next music director. He started the next season. He was just amazing because I don't remember anyone before that showing such a memory. It was he never used scores, hardly ever. If he had a new work, he would put it on the podium and maybe follow it, maybe just let it stay there. I asked him one time how he memorized, and he said, I don't mean to, but when I'm in the script, to mark off the phrase length, four bars. At the bottom of the page, you put a diagonal line. And he says, when I'm marking off the phrases, and it just stays in my head.
Photographic memory. That's amazing.
He said
That's
he did
amazing.
not have a photographic memory, but
Yeah.
it was good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a wonderful memory.
So Bill, what does it make a great conductor? What makes a conductor great?
First of all, that he is a fine musician. I always thought there should be a ratio between ego and talent in a conductor. And to get it right, at least 80% talent and 20% ego. Because there are conductors who go the other way. My very first conductor was Fabian Kusevitsky. Fabian Savitsky. He was a second cousin to Sergei Kusevitsky.
Austin.
That was his claim. That was his claim to fame, or so he thought. But he was a terrible conductor. I remember the Beethoven Fifth. He couldn't get past the first four bars. I admit, it's not a.
It's a hard one.
It's not a challenge. It's a decision that either the cutoff. Now, you give me a cutoff and then do the next phrase, ba 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 ba. You know, or you have that the downbeat or the cutoff rather equal the downbeat. Ba da 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 ba 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 ba. You understand?
Yeah, I know the piece very well. I conducted it. I conducted a school, university. But anyway, so I'm listening. Yeah, it's fascinating.
Work hour on just the first four measures.
Yeah.
Never get it right.
Yeah.
And then just said, well, it will go. It will go tonight. It just,
yeah. Yeah.
That night, it was that's ego over talent. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I went to Tanglewood.
Yeah.
That changed my life. Told my mother I had to get out of San Diego.
Yeah.
Go to New York and saturate myself in music. Because San Diego, as Joni said, was a cultural desert. Never had a decent orchestra.
Yeah.
For a long time. And Robert Shaw became music director.
Right.
And did a lot to raise the orchestra up. He wanted an orchestra to learn how to conduct.
Yeah.
He was the choral conductor. And gifted or knowledgeable of an orchestra. So this is like his training ground. So the orchestra took off then, got a bit of a reputation. And Shaw learned his craft very well. From that time, he became an orchestral conductor as well as a choral conductor. He was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
He became music director. Wonderful man.
Yes.
Worked so hard. He always wore a towel around his neck because the exertion that he put in created so much perspiration. He's constantly wiping it. But a wonderful man, and became a very good conductor.
Very musical. I remember watching. Yeah.
Bill, I know you're a teacher because my brother Hong when he first came to United States, first few years, I think he was one of your students. Do you remember him at all?
Oh yes, Chen made quite an impression. What?
Talk about the kitchen.
You want me to?
You wanna talk about the kitchen?
What?
Kitchen.
The kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, he came over one time for dinner, and he had a part of making the dinner, and had to chop up something, with the
Peking duck.
it's Peking duck, Jody said. And he took the cleaver and chopped up our butcher board. Our butcher board has never been the same.
Yeah. Under the sauce, all splashing to the ceiling. The Ching Juhl was we are kind of like overlapped. That way, I married to Bill. I said, went to the kitchen. I said, what is this? Oh, the spots on the ceiling. That's a Ching Juhl. All the sauce still there.
That's funny.
And I say, is a character, but a lovable character.
Yeah, that's a very talented. Yeah, Ching Juhl. Yeah.
He remembers you. I had a talk with him 2 months ago, just like this format, and he mentioned about you, and he said you're a great teacher. Now, Bill, I play the viola. I know how to teach someone to play the violin, right? It's a very physical thing. It's a very tangible thing. How the hell you teach composition to someone? Like so tell me a little bit, like how do you inspire your student? I mean, how do you teach someone to compose, whether they can or they cannot, right?
Well, that's right. If they don't have the gift, they can't compose. Bartok never taught composition because, as he said, either they have the gift or they don't. So I don't know if he taught at Baltimore, was it? Conservatory, but I think he taught in a way that it wasn't composition from the beginning, but probably analyzing other works.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a professor at Columbia, Jack Beeson, who wanted to study with Bartok. Bach said he didn't teach composition.
Mm-hmm.
But Beeson said, can I just study your works? And Bartok said, okay. So Beeson would just ask him questions all the time and got his composition lessons that way.
Oh,
I see.
How did you do this? Why did you do that?
Oh, pick his brain.
So he really did study Bartok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Susan McKean.
Yeah, sometimes I analyze the master works. Then you learn a lot for composition.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time you have for this interview, but I know you want to.
I also want to talk to Joan. Yeah. Are you feeling okay? Are you feeling a little tired? We're going on to 5:15. I have someone plays with Honolulu Symphony, the first flutist in the audience. Susan McGinn said hi. Hi, Susan. So anyway, we have 16 people right now watching us. Actually, that's very good. Yeah, very good. So Bill, are you getting?
Are you tired or you want to continue? It's okay. You can talk.
Either way.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, talk. Yeah. Bill, I want to find out something. I know not only you are artist, you are teacher, you are conductor, you are everything, and you are a great cook.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice, thank you.
he
I,
said,
I remember that reminded me of a composer from Italy, Giuseppe.
yeah, he died in the podium. He's the great cook.
Was his name?
Yeah, I forgot his name. He died in like died in 70s or something. Just yes.
He conducted the Philharmonic, I think it was at the Hollywood Bowl, and Ernest Fleischman, the executive director of the orchestra, invited him over to my house to cook dinner.
Yeah.
I think he ended up cooking. It was a salmon. Oh, a whole salmon.
Yeah.
Said he learned cooking from his mother.
Yeah.
He took great pride in it.
Oh, yeah.
He was also a philosopher. He says you can criticize my philosophy, you can criticize my conducting, my composing, but you cannot criticize my cooking.
That's funny. Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
Luciano Berio is a good cook too, right?
I think all Italian.
Yeah, all Italian composers are great.
Yeah. All right. So I want some dirt now. You can answer. June, if you want to. How did you two meet?
How do you meet? You wanted to.
Who seduced who? Who seduced who?
I maybe I can tell this story. I think Ching Juhl was in Chapman University, right? Chapman, yeah, in Orange. That was
Ching Juhl is my brother.
Yeah, Ching Juhl, yeah, Ching's brother. And Bill was teaching. Bill was just retired from Los Angeles Philharmonic. Then first taught at Chapman, because when Bill retired, he wasn't sure, because the Philharmonic, the salary was pretty good, and he said, if I retire, he just want to become a composer. And he said, if I quit the Philharmonic job, if I can survive, because have to give up a big salary. And then you said that your accountant said, if you are watching your expense, you probably you could. Then he immediately after he retired from Philharmonic, then the Chapman College invited him first as a 2-year, 1 year at the
Chapman. Yes.
Chapman, yeah, that's a Ching Juhl study.
Right, in Orange County.
Yeah, it was like a short term, Then he went to UCLA.
So what's the relationship between you and him meet? That's my question.
I was a PhD candidate, and Bill was coming as a visiting professor at the UCLA.
In Chapman?
Yeah, no,
UCLA?
UCLA. That's after Ching Juhl, after his brother. Okay. And he came to UCLA. I was a graduate student, a PhD student. I just studied with Bill 1 year. We met. I was, lonely foreign student, and Bill was a divorcee. You divorced already?
Yeah.
Divorcee. Yeah.
So he always said, I was studying with him. I was really poor, as penniless as a foreign student, and he always took me to a restaurant,
Saturday night dinner.
UCLA.
He feed you.
Yeah, was completely, because we had so much in common. We both love music, love history, love paintings, love arts. We had just the talk, And Bill is also interested in Chinese cultures. I'm always wanted to learn about more Americans, Western cultures. So we are talk a lot, and it was as a during we didn't never thought it was a kind of romantic relationship. Just a teacher and a student. So then was. Do you remember? It was 1989. The Tiananmen Square happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You were in America too, right? So it was I was watching, was living in Beverly Hills or Bel Air, a lady's 95-year-old woman's house, just as a live-in, to exchange my rent. So I was very lonely, and then watching the Tiananmen things, and I saw that the massacre. I called my father. My parents in Shanghai. My father just said to me, "Don't come back." My father was just saw the future. Somehow he said that don't come back. So I was here. I was single. Mm-hmm. So then Bill said, that we got married, but as
but isn't that a problem? Like a teacher and a student isn't not supposed to sort of involve those days or now?
I always broke the rules.
No. Now it's not allowed. Yeah.
But she was special.
Yeah, but it was luckily it was during that time it was allowed. So it was helping me got my green card. But the first time I remember, we went to the immigration lawyer. They said, "Is this a real marriage?" They said, "The real marriage or something." Yeah. At the beginning, it was just for that. It's a really rushed up.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, somebody said hello to the master. My salute to the great master. You know, it must be your friend. Pesantez. There's people make announcement.
My salute, great maestro.
Yeah. It must be your friend. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A century. See.
Yeah.
Must be. Yeah.
And also my girlfriend said, "Hi, what a special surprise! I admire Mr. Kraft's work." And she loves your work. She's the principal flutist with the Honolulu Symphony. We went to school together. Yeah. So anyway, so continue. So that's how.
Yeah, that's how we met.
So do you mind like when you were very young though?
It's already 32 or 33, something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And, I met, and it was. It's. I said that we nowadays, because the chairman of the UCLA music department, Roger Ball, invited Bill as a visiting professor. We said that we have to thank him to brought us together.
Right.
Without Roger Bolland, we would have never met him.
Yeah.
So
I have a question. It's sort of follow this union. Now, I don't usually know composers live, but I have a question. With two person, wife and husband, both composers, do you talk about composition? Like, honey, what are you going to write today? Or do you talk about music at home? Like, who listens who? Of course, Bill is, professor. So how does the dynamic goes in terms of a composition in your life?
You talk.
I didn't quite get the.
No, question. I mean, how do two composers live in the same household? How do you?
No problem.
I think it's enhanced. Somehow it's enhanced our creativities, right, Xiaoli?
Yes.
Because sometimes, I remember Bill is very diligent composer. He got up at 5 o'clock every morning and went to his studio compose. And Bill, because somehow you like my string quartet, but you
Oh yeah.
and Bill sometimes would ask me, how do you work on the strings? Although he has all the charts of the
Yeah.
string board, what
Yeah.
the fingerboard things
Yeah.
charts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he still asked me, but
Yeah.
I had to say, because I studied with many professors, but I benefited to Bill because since Bill playing the orchestra, he has
Mm.
really experienced as a performer.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
all the things talk on the orchestration book we learned at the school. So it's way up, Bill's experience is way above those what they can do, what they cannot do. He said,
Yeah.
"Oh no, then you can get this pitch." It's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Also kind of like how to say it. In real composition,
Yeah.
you cannot do this, you cannot do that. But Bill is
Yeah.
free. He said that.
Yeah.
I learned
Yeah.
a lot. It's your constant variation. That's the flexibility. That's as a performer. I think I really benefited from that. Yeah. If I
Yeah.
Well,
Wonderful. So yes, Bill.
well, I was going to say I think it was fortunate that I played in an orchestra because I had the opportunity to talk to all the players and ask them, "Can you do this? Can you do that? How fast can you triple tongue? 180."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very practical school
Yeah.
for me to play in the orchestra. I
Right.
love that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, say, Joan, when you finish something, do you let Bill to see it? Like, say, Bill, can you take a look? Like, do you sort of like treat him as a teacher, or do you treat him as just another composer?
I think it's a half and a half, because I think Bill is more experienced, and I really respect his opinion. But I have my own, that's why when I got married to Bill, I didn't change my last name because I wanted my identity as a Chinese American composer, because I want to maintain my with the Chinese characteristics, my musical language. So I always have this in my mind because I really cherish my culture heritage or my own roots. So, but I learned a lot contemporary techniques from Bill. I think my style it's completely different from Bill's style because Bill has a roots of a jazz. He's a American. I think Bill its style is American impressionist style. It's very influenced by the colors, right? With American kind of jazz and the influence too. So we are very, very different style. So
yeah.
I try to, but I think when Bill teaches taught at the Santa Barbara, I remember he was teaching PhD students. He told them, find your own language. You don't, especially as a composer, right? All your students. Yeah. That's
right.
Yes.
So Bill, I listened to some of your works. One of them is the concert by Hong Kong Philharmonic at the concerto. That was concerto number 2 or number 1? The Hong Kong one. Number 2. Yeah. So so the whole setting is so beautiful and so elaborate, and so now I'm just like do when well at the beginning especially like do you give your players freedom to do a little bit improvisation, or every note is written for them?
Very, very little. I had uh, I had a couple of unfortunate experiences where the performer took off from the improvisation. Well, first of all, the the player who is improvising should have a sense of what composing is about, so that when he's doing the improvisation, that it is related to the piece itself. You know, you think of Beethoven, Mozart cadenzas. They go right out of the substance, you know. Yeah.
一年出嚟玩啊，媽咪。
Oh, you did not.
What?
Are you tired?
Yeah.
Little bit. Are you talk? Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry,
but
we speak Shanghai dialect. We say right now if Bill's too tired. Yeah.
Yeah, I did
I'm
some.
not that tired.
I did
Okay.
some Bill's copy. You know, the computer. What's called the engraving copy. I noticed Bill's notations very, very strictly notated. The most of them. Only very, very little. But his music is very complicated. But it's a good kind of complication.
Yeah.
It's a sophisticated, but it's exciting.
Yeah, the simple answer is to be careful to whom you entrust your music.
Yeah.
That person really has to have an idea of what improvisation really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a student once, and he was a timpanist, and he said, we were on the phone one day, and he said, "Oh, I've got the greatest idea for the improvisation. I got, you know." So I went to hear his rehearsal. The improvisation had nothing to do with the music. Entirely. Oh, he had worked out a cadenza for himself. You know,
I see.
I had said it was in a piece called The Double Trio. And everyone in the ensemble had a solo, except for this one percussionist.
Yeah.
It came to his solo during the dress rehearsal, and he stopped.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, aren't you going to do your improvisation?" And he says, "No, I want to surprise you."
Yeah.
I never hear that. I hope I never hear that again the rest of my life. He had a 5-minute cadenza.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with my piece at all.
Oh no.
He worked out to show off what he could do.
I see.
So after that, I said, "No more will I trust a performer."
Yeah.
If you performer very well.
Yeah.
And he excels in improvisation. And knows how to have that improvisation grow out of the piece.
Right.
So the continuity is not lost. You know, you see, if you're doing a Beethoven cadenza and you put in a Hindemith cadenza for somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
And so after that, I just know, don't want to give away my music.
I think Lutoslavsky did great. You know, he's a controlled improvisation, but it's something like the same material. can develop under this same material. Yeah, I in my piece or Bill's piece, I noticed have a little kind of like you are kind of like a continue with the similar pitches, continue and the same. You have the detailed literary instruction. What do you look like? Wonder you sometimes do that. So, but that's a kind of controlled improvisation. I think.
Yeah.
Works. Yeah.
Yeah.
So earlier, someone we were trying to figure out who was that. His name is Phil. He said, "This is Phil, an admirer of
Phil.
Bill."
Yeah.
Do you know Phil?
Phil.
Hi to
the
all
last
of you.
Bill Hill.
His last name is what?
Phil.
We don't know. Oh, Bill. Oh,
Phil,
his name is Phil. Phil. Yeah. But anyway,
to figure out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Probably they he know Bill. And my girlfriend Susan says I like to play some of Miss Huang's chamber works, which include flute. The instruments are very interesting. The instrumentations are very interesting. Yeah. So.
I remember it was a Susan. Maybe that's the woman called my Gu Su Xing. Like the impressions on Gu Su about the Suzhou. I wrote pieces before. I think I.
Oh really? You know her?
Kind of recollection. From.
She plays with the Honolulu Symphony.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's the first chair. Yeah.
Oh.
So let's see. Oh, here we go. Phil says something on the concerto for timpani and orchestra for San Francisco Symphony is a great composition. It was quite an experience attending the concert. I guess Phil went to the concert of San Francisco.
The San Francisco. Michael Tilson Thomas played both Bill's timpani concerto. And the second timpani concerto it was commissioned by the MTT, Michael Tilson.
So Bill, do you have any works for viola?
Any what?
Viola
works. Viola works.
Not so.
Yeah. He wrote a series called The Encounters. With
Do you have one for viola?
No, has a cello with percussion. Yeah. But you have don't.
Well.
Yeah, you don't have he has a lot of Pierre Lunel setting.
I should do a viola piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's still playing. Whole family, whole entire family are violas. And then the co-son, 20 years old in Juilliard, study, it's on scholarship at the Juilliard.
Yeah. Where are you playing now?
Well, I'm not really playing. I teach more or less at home, and I do a lot of video works. So I used to play with the Phoenix Symphony. I used to play in a string trio, but I haven't been playing enough lately. I have to confess. So I do a lot of media work. Yeah, lots of making films, making videos, stuff like that. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, so we have 17 people still in the audience. Thank you so much for joining us and listening or making comments. Can you please, if you have any questions for Bill and Joan, please do. And I'm Ching Juhl, and please consider subscribe this channel, Juhl Media. I do this a conversation with someone special since the lockdown in New York. So I've done like more than 30 episodes now to talk to different people, different disciplines. Sometimes people are politicians, some are filmmakers, a lot of musicians, jazz pianists, radio person, and also composers. So thank you for watching. Now, I also have a question about more current issue. Who wants to answer, Bill or Joan? What do you think of this Black Lives Matters situation right now?
You wanted to? You have an experience of the Black Lives Matters, or
Well, I'm a great supporter. I I grew up in San Diego, and when I was 16, I'd just been studying, I think, drums for a year, and I used to go down to this black nightclub. That's where the best jazz was. And first I would just go down there to listen, uh, but never thought I was good enough to play with them. But I did sit in one night, and they invited me to join the group. So all through my teen years, I played in this black nightclub. And when I came out of the Air Force after 3 years, I went right back to it for my early 20s. It was my favorite time of life as a musician. I really loved it. Loved the guys there. My mother, who was rather conservative, she came from Russia. Uh, so black people were strange to her. She was Jewish, and she called them the Schwarzes, meaning the blacks. She said, "Aren't you afraid?" I said, "Afraid of what?" Well, she thought that they went around carrying straight knives and razors, straight razors and knives and all that. I said, "No, Mom, they're my best friends. I play them every night, because so I'm very close to black people. In fact, one of my very best friends now is Raynor Carroll, a marvelous percussionist with the Philharmonic.
Principal percussion. Yeah.
He is now.
He just retired. Yeah, he was for how many years? More than 30 years.
Really?
The principal percussion section in Los Angeles Philharmonic. He is so elegant and intelligent.
Yeah,
He's our best friend. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the word everyone uses for his playing is elegant. But as far as the Black Lives Matter, it's very difficult to penetrate the prejudices of people that are already prejudiced. It's, especially in the South, it's a different thing in the South. In some ways, they are better in their attitude, and I was surprised. But it is unique. It's different from other parts of the world. Yeah.
The slavery, because the history, the best.
Yeah.
The terrible history.
Well, to me, the best jazz, of course, is black.
Right.
I remember one day I was playing in the studios here, and a friend of mine, Klein is his name, came from a family of musicians, and they were contractors in the studios. But Manny was a trumpet player. He went to San Diego one time for some reason. He came back, and he says, "I met a bunch of musicians from San Diego, and they said, you played black." I said, "You're damn right I did."
They are the jazz musicians.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love jazz. And I teach music appreciation in a college in New York for 16 years. And I included a jazz curriculum and Chinese music. So I learned a little bit surface of jazz, history of jazz. So
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yeah. And do you want to add to that note, Joan, about the issue Black Lives Matter?
Oh, I want, yeah. You
Would
know,
you please?
as I came from China, when I grew up, was we also have a heresy, kind of like in Shanghai. We live. I don't know. Ching probably do too. I live in the Xuhui district, like a
I,
French court.
yeah, yeah.
It's
Fufu,
concentrated.
Fufu court. You live in the Fufu area.
Yeah,
Fufu.
I think that China is because it's homogeneous. It's a majority of Han. Like us, we are Han people, so we don't have that kind of really a multiracial situation like in America. But when I came first time I came to this country at UCLA, it was '86. I came to the campus. I was kind of like a little shocked because when we are in the Shanghai Conservatory, Shanghai campus, they all high. Maybe a few. It's like a minority, very very the small percentage. But at the UCLA, the campus was like a completely multiracial. But at the beginning, I thought, oh, this is shock, to me. But when I walk on the campus, sit in the same classroom with my classmates, from Africa, from India, from a different country, and we ate the same cafeteria, and Eileen Bakken, my professor, the women professor, she taught us at the 20th century opera. It's analysis, but she asked us to bring our own, traditional instrument from your own country, and this is such a novel experience to me. I said that this is really exciting. We brought our own instrument, and Eileen Bagen also asked us to play the gamelan, which is Indonesia ensemble. So I said this is beneficial to me, at least I'm not only because I was in the Shanghai Conservatory. I was most learning. I was a Western compositional major. We thought all this the ethnic instruments uncouth. It's unsophisticated. Only the all Western instruments, the piano, violins, or these are sophisticated. But I said it was went to the conservatory, went to the UCLA. I said this completely immediately opened my horizon. So I fed me with a lot of new ideas. Talking about the Black matter lives, and I found even now in the current situation, a lot of my even compatriots, my friends, they are racists. They are kind of like a prejudice against the Black. This is really, really unfair, because they didn't, I think they need to study more about the history, about the, you have to open your mind and not like I think it's all the races are created equals. Not just think, of course, Asian Americans are good at study and good at get good grades. They're very successful. They go to the good company, high tech company. But I think they didn't know this. Our current situation is a lot of efforts by the Black people, like Martin Luther King. The civil rights movement. Yesterday I got it was recently I got an email from my best friend Gloria, she said, she's Asian American. She mentioned about, because Black people, she grew up in this country, but still think, as Asian, she said that when she was growing up, she said that they only mentioned about, your look is strange, never, not like the Black people. They have a much less opportunities to go to a good school because their district is much less funded. They had to sit in the back of the bus, and also, probably like my generation and the Ching and I came up during the 1980s. We are benefited by we still could buy a house in the white neighborhood, but the Black people couldn't, was completely not allowed to live in the with the same district of white people. We think we shouldn't take for granted, as Asian people. I think in my mind, I'm completely colorblind. I think I learned a lot from Latinos because, like Pancho, our handyman, he was so honest and so optimistic and smart, very smart, honest, and always never had the depression.
Well, we've not seen it.
Yeah. After all, we are all humans, and humanity is what makes us all equal.
I think they also needed education because when I saw the 12 Years of Slaves and the movie, win the Academy Awards, and the movie is Lincoln, I learned so much of talk about those Black slaves, and they suffered so much, and was a 260 history of slaves, because this is like Blacks really freed. It's only like 50 years. It's it's a really, really deep, very deep scar. We have to think about those. That's why I found during this demonstration, the protest and the Black Lives Matters, and a lot of white people, the majority, I think I read, if I'm correct, I'm wrong, I think a majority demonstrators are white people, and the young people. Lot of young people, but they changed like the Asian, the second generation, like your son's generation. They are completely different because
my son's Julia roommate last year was a tuba player who is a Black boy, and they get on really well, So my son actually took me to just last week's a visual. It's called Visual for Elijah McClain, who was killed by a policeman. And so actually my son wants to go, which is nice. And I went with him. I made a short film. So I think Bill's getting tired. Alison, should we do a rapid fire? Should I do it with you, or should I do it with Bill?
No, it's your choice. You do whatever. Your choice.
Okay.
Say something.
Okay. This question is for Joan. Do you have a nickname for Bill?
Shauli.
What is a Shauli? What is a Shauli?
Shauli 就是小狐狸，上海话。Shanghainese, 小狐狸
means translate.
It's a little fox.
Little fox.
All my family, all my friends call you 小狐狸.
Didn't you have a name for me before?
You cannot be.
You cannot say. Oh, it's too. It's too X-rated.
可以，你晓得上海话无厘头。
I said to her one day, would you call me that in front of your mother? She said, oh, no. I said, well, why do you do that?
That's funny.
Ulido.
Ulido. That's funny. Yeah, that's very funny. Ulido means poop. So anyway, okay. So Bill, do you have a nickname for her?
I call her Joni.
Joni. Oh, it's so sweet.
Yeah, she changed her name to
You call me Huang Zhou.
Huang Zhou.
Wang Chong. I call her Wang Chong.
Huang Zhou.
Wang Chong.
Yeah. So who cooks dinner these days? Since you both are cooks.
Oh, Joni cooks.
Yeah, I cook every day.
She just automatically cooks.
We both are good, you know, and the Bill.
You're so lucky.
Yeah, we listen to Bill said I cannot cook one day, so I gave a second.
Well, she said, okay, you can cook on Saturdays. And when I come into the kitchen on Saturday, there she is cooking. It's not automatically.
Occupied kitchen.
Yeah, it's a.
Well, Joni has been cooking since she was 8 years old.
Yeah,
because both her parents worked.
Cook for my sister. Yeah.
So she and brother.
No, my was at your grandma's, but I cook for my little sister. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. Let's see what else. What's for dinner, Joan? Today.
Dinner, Chinese.
Who's cooking?
Chinese. Tonight is Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I see you are very domestic. You have a garden. What do you have in your garden?
Oh, the garden's beautiful.
Yeah, squash and the peppers, cucumber, green beans, eggplants, everything. I cook from my garden.
It's quite a garden.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. What's your favorite color, Joan?
My favorite color yellow. My name. No, actually, my name because is red, but I read yellow. It's because of my name. Yellow.
So, Bill, what's the secret to not divorcing your wife?
Love.
What's the secret?
I mean, Joni's a wonderful woman.
Oh, yeah.
That, for starters, she's a wonderful woman. I love her attitude towards life.
Oh, thank you.
Her way of living, way of thinking.
Thank you very much.
All that we are very much alike, I think. And she's a very, very kind and loving person. She wouldn't hurt a fly.
Oh.
I caught the rats.
If she has to get rats in her garden, so.
Yeah.
So she's a murderer in that way.
Yeah.
那两个人差多少岁数啊？后门吧。
33岁，33.
Oh wow.
Wow. What 33?
33.
I was asking her in Shanghai dialect. I said, how much age differences do you have? She said 33.
Yeah, we never know. This is a completely was it 9 Tiananmen Square incident, kind of like after the June 4th, you know.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
I have to admit,
so Bill,
I'm getting a bit tired.
Okay, all right. So one more question. How about one more question for Bill? One more question for Bill. Bill, do you take vitamins? Like you are so young. You're only 96 young. How'd you do this?
I take
Persevere. That's all you do.
But his attitude, Bill's attitude is great. He wants to live, He said,
it's something you either are or not. I mean, I always have things to do, you know, and that's where my thoughts are, my mental energy going. I used to play a lot of tennis, but That's over with.
Mm.
The last time I played, I hadn't played in 2 years, and I met this lady on the hiking trail.
Mm.
I had not played in 2 years, and I found out she played tennis, so we arranged a game, and we were warming up, and she hit the balls so hard
Mm.
that in 10 minutes I was worn out.
Mm.
That's it. And that's the end of my tennis game. Huh? I played it in my mid-80s.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so I just wanted to say thank you for a couple of people. Adriana says, hello from Adriana and Elliot in San Francisco.
Yeah,
Bill and June.
that's David Herbert's ex-wife, Adrian and Elliot. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Who are you talking about? Adrian?
Adrian,
Yeah, they say hello. They
Oh,
said hello. Yeah. And then she had a funny story. She said, Bill, when someone asked about viola, I had a memory of our performance at the National Repertoire Orchestra in Colorado in 1990. Damn, I played in that orchestra in 1978. And so the entire viola section grew sideburns for the performance. Do you remember that?
Sideburn. Oh.
Oh. Sideburn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, do you remember? Yeah, Adrian. Adrian, do you remember? Adrian was the David Herbert's ex-wife.
Adrian, yeah.
Adrian also grew up, also graduated from Juilliard.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I think Bill is getting a little tired. We've been talking for 1 hour and 15 minutes, and thank you so much for audience for being with us. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much, Bill, for talking to me, and thank you, Joan. And it's really a lot of fun. And
really fun, a lot of fun.
You guys be safe, and I'll talk to you privately sometime soon.
Okay, thank you.
We'll look forward to that, sweetheart.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye, everyone.